one of the 29 foot.
And this is her husband. She didn't say it. Rosalie is not married.
That was James. Could I get a volunteer to do that?
James and Edith Washington. The late James and Edith Washington were owners of the Washington Laundry and Market, which was established on Popular Street in Cayce in 1963. The business featured coin-operated washers and dryers, an array of household items, and scrumptious hot meals and fast foods. Prior to opening their business in Cayce, the Washingtons owned a successful grocery store, G&H Cash and Carry, in Columbia, South Carolina. What made the Washington business venture successful and so extraordinary was the fact that they had no formal training or classes in business or economics. According to their son Eugene Washington, my parents were former poor sharecroppers from Blackville, South Carolina, both of whom had second-grade education. My father told me that the keys to being a great business person were having good products and treating customers right. Eugene went on to say, I'm immensely proud of my parents' entrepreneurial abilities, and I'm even prouder that they shared their good fortune with others, especially those in need. Is there anyone here from the Washington family? No? Well, let's give them a hand clap.
What time is James?
Would someone tell Mr. Sultan to please come in? He's on the outside. Tell Mr. Sultan to please come in. There you go. This is my husband. James Sr. and Booker T. Sultan. These are brothers from Cayce. The brothers, Booker T. Sultan and James Sultan Sr., were longtime community leaders, African-American business owners of the Sultan Garage and Paint and Body Shop that was located at 1800 Middle Street in Cayce. The two brothers were in World War II. After returning, one brother was very good at doing auto mechanics. The other brother was good at paint and body. So what did they do when they came back from the World War II? Mr. Booker T. Sultan served in the U.S. Navy. Mr. James Sultan served in the U.S. Army. After serving their country, they both returned home to their families in Cayce. The Sultan Brothers opened their business in Cayce in 1947, where it thrived for 50 years. The Sultan Street in Cayce was named in honor of the Sultan Brothers, James and Booker T. Sultan. Sorry, y'all, but this is my husband, and I'm gonna make it big. What do the people say? If you can't honor your own own family? All right, and then it's my husband, so I won't say no.
The thing I wanna, just mention, just briefly, is that a lot of these people that we're talking about seem like everyday people as we were growing up. Some of us never really realized, what they were doing and what they had accomplished. And then when you look back at it now, it's like, wow, this person was really doing things. So it just makes a big difference to be able to finally acknowledge some of the things, some of the people that happened in Cayce in the African American community.
Amen, amen.
Rosalie Earl, Rosalie, April 20th, 1933 to July 31st, 1995. Rosalie Earl was born in Lexington, South Carolina, and lived and raised her family in Cayce. While caring for her family, which included her 11 children, Rosalie accepted a position as a custodian at Busby Middle School. She took pride in her work and lived the African proverb, "It takes a village to raise a child." Busby Middle School at the time was located on Dunbar Road in the heart of her community. She was affectionately known as Mrs. Earl and shared fond memories of the many acts of kindness done throughout her day. She gained the respect and adoration of her students, and they were her students. She later became a teacher's aide at the Fairfield Arms Daycare Center in Columbia. Rosalie was a pillar and staple in the Cayce community as a faithful member of New Life Baptist Church. She was on the senior musical choir for over 17 years, a dedicated servant and member of the Nurses Guild, the Missionary Society, and a leader for the Emmy James Children's Choir. Rosalie was married to the handsome jack of all trades, Stanley Earl, for 52 years. Rosalie's legacy will be forever honored through the lives she touched and held in the hearts and minds of her family, friends, and all the children she watched over as a custodian, taught as a teacher's aide, and cared for as a dedicated servant of her faith.
Mrs. Aines Smith was born May 27th, 1917, and attended school in Lexington County. She worked as a cook for Lexington County School System and Blue Cross Blue Shield. She established one of the first African American daycare centers in Cayce. She has been a member of Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church for more than 60 years and served on the Jubilee Choir and a senior Sunday school class. She was also a member of the Cayce Community Club. Mrs. Aines enjoys watching game shows, especially Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. One of her favorite hobbies is canning, especially fish preserves. She loves gospel music and a good sermon. She was married to the late Mr. Willoughby Smith for 30 years. He died when the children were still young, and Mrs. Aines said she knew she had to get out and work, so that's what she did. They had 5 daughters, Helen, Eleonora, Margaret, Marge, and Vanessa, who recently passed, and 2 sons, Willie Jr. and Jerome. Mrs. Aines also has 10 grandchildren and 13 great-grandchildren. When asked if that was correct, she replied, "I guess so. I can't keep on it all." She presently lives with her daughter Helen. Mrs. Aines said if the Lord let her live to see May 27, 2020, she was looking forward to being 103, and now the Lord has blessed her to see 104.
We wrote this on this in 20. And unfortunately, this year, Ms. Aines passed. So we lost our jewel. But Ms. Helen sent 2 representatives.
Yeah.
Ms. Alfreda and Ms. Isola. James, you didn't get out of it.
Miss Willie Dean Anderson, Mama Dean, born May 7, 1912, died July 7, 2017. Willie Dean Anderson was born May 7, 1912, in North South Carolina. She was the oldest of 4 sisters and 2 brothers. At 20, she moved to Baltimore, Maryland, after having her one and only daughter. She later moved back to South Carolina and began a new adventure in becoming a foster parent, Mama Dean. I think a lot of people know that name. As she was known, fostering over 70 children in her home between 1981 and 1983. She also adopted 4 children of her own. After stopping taking foster children, she stayed busy as well into the 90s, taking care of family members. She took care of out-of-town family members and friends who didn't have anyone else to help them out. She brought them into her home. She made them feel comfortable. She always visited the sick and the shut-in after church. And throughout the weeks, she was a strong woman cut from a beautiful cloth, helping, caring, and doing for others. In early May 2017, a fire ripped through her home, completely destroying it. She was rescued by a family member who carried her out. Central South Carolina Habitat for Humanity rebuilt her home. Sadly, Mama Dean died before it was completed. She never got to live and finish. She never got to live and see the finish of her home. Things like that. Yeah, that's the end.
Everybody knows this big.
Yes,
Yeah, Miss B in the house too.
yes.
Okay, Miss Vernita Wanamaker was born in Orangeburg County, April 4th, 1933. She is still going strong doing the work of the Lord. Vernita has dedicated her life to helping and giving to others. Miss B, as she's known, moved to Cayce in 1956 to be a day worker for Miss Pound. She had 4 children, 1 son, Michael, who was stillborn, two daughters, Betty Ann and Elaine, who died at an early age during a lightning episode, and Gladys, who lived until adulthood but died from cancer. Miss B herself had a brain tumor. She had an operation